Hey everybody. Or hey pals. I used to say hey pals, don't know what happened to that. But you are my pals, just so you know. We are on season two of Communicate, so we are going to invite the next guest on, which you may recognize him. His name is Elliot, and he's an actor and a musician. Hey, Bianca.
Hi.
Hey, what's good, Elliot?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing swell. Trying to shut my jazz off right now. So I can hear ya.
Cool.
How have you been?
I'm doing good. I just did my very first horror convention this past weekend at Monster Mania, and that was really, really fun. Tomorrow I'm going to be playing a show. One of my first live shows, a warm up at a record store called Limited to One Records. That's in New York. And then right now I'm just hanging out, chilling out with my cat.
I am too. He's begging me right now, but he's gonna have to wait. He's gonna have. I'm very proud of you. I see all the things that you're doing, and you should be very proud of yourself as well.
Thank you.
I just want to clarify. You pronounce your last name Fullam. I
Yes.
great, and you are 17.
18 years old.
I gotcha. Well, it's like incredible. Not only are you an actor, you are a musician, which we're going to get to. I'm excited. I'm gonna get some guitar stuff. So while we have some people tuning in, hey everybody, what's up? Tell me a little bit about the audition process for joining Terrifier 2, which you did excellent on. I saw the movie. It was very scarring in the best way. It was excellent. And what some of your first moments on set were like stepping onto the set and being like, wow, I'm a part of this right now.
Okay, so the audition process. So I was already a fan of Terrifier, like the very first Terrifier before I even auditioned. We saw on Actors Access. It's funny, that day when we submitted, well, actually that day when we heard back saying that they're interested in wanting us to audition for this, uh, was the day I went and interviewed Jay Weinberg of Slipknot. So that was just a wonderful day. I did 4 auditions. I did 2 self-tapes. My very first in-person audition was my second one, and that's when I actually look, I can't talk. Sorry. I did an audition with Lauren. That's when I first met her, and Damien. And then I did one other self-tape where I just practiced me screaming, and then my very final audition was actually at the producer's house. So that was very, very nerve-wracking. And luckily, I guess I did well because I made it into the movie. So the very first moments on set, um, it was just wonderful. I think my very first was at the school. I think those were one of the first scenes that I filmed, and it was very, very fun. I enjoyed working with David and Lauren, and I got to act with Lissa Rose on one of my first days on set, and that was wonderful. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just good times.
Very cool. So that's really epic. So 4 auditions,
Yes.
basically had to just act terrified for a take. I mean, obviously, they just had you yell a bunch of times for a take. Is that what
That
happened?
was for my third audition. That was my it was a self-tape where I just practiced screaming and stuff.
That's awesome. Very cool. Well, very well deserved. And recently, you also landed a role on episode 2 of The Calling. So you're expanding your portfolio as an actor. So tell me the character in the episode and how the experience differed from playing Jonathan in Terrifier, how that character was, just separate from what you did in a horror film.
Well, that was actually very fun. It was just that one little scene I did, and I'd say that character is, well, actually, it was actually kind of similar to Jonathan because I was a little scared and very nervous,
Right.
um, especially in that scene because they're interrogating me about this missing kid and how it was my friend and how I said he just called in late. So you can really see that was just a really fun experience. I got to work with Barry Levinson, and it was just fun.
Nice. So, like, you're getting into the crime shows
Yeah.
and spooky shows. So that's awesome. Much more, definitely. So speaking of expanding your horizons, what would you say, this might be a tough question, but what would you say is like your dream role as an actor? Any role you could play.
Well, honestly, one of my one of my dreams as a kid growing up was to be in a horror movie, and I already did that.
Oh
So
man,
being in Terrifier 2, that was probably the dream role that I could have gotten. But if I could say any other cool role, maybe like a drama show. I love Bryan Cranston. I love Aaron Paul, Breaking Bad, but I got to actually meet them. So if I was able to work with them at any point, that would just be wonderful. That would be a dream in itself.
I think it'll happen. Got my fingers crossed for sure. Okay,
Maybe. We'll see.
positive vibes. So acting, for those that might be tuning in that are new to Elliot's work through Terrifier, you have a variety of stuff going on, like your singer-songwriter work and your interview stuff. You've released an EP and a video for Kick Me Down, if I'm correct. That's the song that you released a video for.
Mm-hmm.
Vibe to me is reminiscent of Simon and Garfunkel and the Beatles. And
Nice.
Floyd a little bit even. I was really impressed. So who would you say are your musical inspirations?
I would say those three artists that you just put right there are huge inspirations of mine. But I would also say Elliott Smith, Duster, those two right there. I would say a top two. Mazzy Star, Alex G, Nick Drake are all up there as well. A lot of the slowcore indie, and of course, like you mentioned, the Beatles, absolute classic. George Harrison, I really, really love. And it's funny how you mentioned them because my grandparents say, "Oh, the Beatles, the Beatles, remind me of the Beatles." And
Yeah,
I'll take it. I'll take it.
yeah, you kind of got that like older like school edge to you, you know, which I think is really cool. And you remind me of Sierra Levesque. I'm sorry, I always say Levesque, but she's Canadian, so Levesque. And she's a younger artist too, but she has that rockier edge, and she wants to bring back the rock to the mainstream and everything. And I could very easily see you doing that, and you know, pursuing that kind of sound, which I could see you doing any sound, but you're definitely doing well in that genre.
Thank you.
Uh,
Yeah, I love all the 90s, the post-punk, grunge, Nirvana, and of course all the classic rock bands like AC/DC, Kiss. But I think right now, if I were to go and venture off into any sort of more heavy type of stuff, it would probably just be slight inspirations with like post-punk, like Sonic Youth or like Nirvana or something.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many different directions that you can go in. And obviously, you know, you're still young and you're going to keep releasing stuff and it's going to get better and better. So, speaking of your guitar work, you are a good guitarist. So, what amps or plugins did you use to record Kick Me Down, and how did you record the record? Like, where did you record it?
So I actually recorded it all in my bedroom on my laptop. I have a Focusrite interface, and yeah, I have an acoustic guitar. It's called a Tangle with a Guitar. And then I also, for my electric stuff, I have a Jazz Master, a Fender Jazz Master. It's like a silver. Um, so yeah, that's mainly it. Not too complex, nothing much else. And then I also worked to master it with Alan Douches of West Side Music, and he was really, really cool to work with as well.
Nice. So you're already like producing your own stuff too, which is like the perfect way to get ahead. Like more and more artists are having their at-home studios, which is just the best way. The best. I'm personally still working on that, but it's such a huge benefit.
I
When I
completely agree with you on that. Just the fact that you can work at home at any time possible. Like after this interview, if I wanted to record and write a song, I could do it. And also just the fact that um, it's on your own time too. A lot of the one thing with recording studios is that listen, you get top of the line, equipment and stuff, but I just love the fact that I can do it at any time for however long I want. I'm not on a time period. And let's say if I wanted to change a part or whatever, or like if I'm a couple of days later, if I'm like, you know what, I'm not really too fond of that vocal performance by me, I can just go in and re-record it. So that to me, with like this setup, I think is the best.
And then at the same time, like us as musicians, when we have ideas that pop spontaneously into our heads, or even the way you pronounce a certain word while recording, you're like, I gotta change that, you
Yep.
know. It's nice to have that right in your home. You don't have to call up your producer and bug them about every single little mix thing that you want changed, you know. Yeah, you can be your own producer, so that's
Yeah.
epic.
And
It,
like you said, those spontaneous ideas are, it kind of, it's, you don't want to mess up the flow of music, you know, like.
yeah, exactly. And I feel like that keeps you creative, just having that in your space. So, what age did you like begin whittling on the strings? Like, when did you start?
Oh man, it was a long, long time ago when I very first picked up guitar. I got a Stratocaster, and unfortunately, I didn't practice it enough, and we just sold it. But then a couple of years later, I think I started around like 10 to 12 years old. If my memory might be a little off there, but yeah, I've been playing for
Oh,
like 6 to 8 years.
nice. Super cool.
Thank you.
Super, super dope.
Thank you.
So, like, what got you interested in it, would you say? I know that's like a vague question because I don't think I could even answer that myself, like, for my music. But if you have like a memory of something that was like, oh, dang, I really need strings now, like
I,
something that heck out of you.
I would say my dad definitely inspired me a lot because he grew up playing guitar and he was in
Oh, very
band,
cool.
hardcore bands and punk bands. So I always saw him playing guitar. But then also, I was, especially at that time, like I said earlier, I was a huge fan of all the rock bands like AC/DC, Black Sabbath. And I saw that they had, all of them had that SG, the Gibson SG, and that ended up being the guitar I got where I really first started practicing a lot on. So I was very lucky with that. So I would
Well,
say a lot of those uh, classic guitarists, like also some metal bands like James Hetfield from and Kirk Hammett from Metallica were huge influences of mine, especially at the time.
yeah, they're great. I definitely love them for sure. Like anything Metallica is
Hmm.
great. Sorry, I hit my tree in there and me just she's my country and she says hello. Uh
I agree.
Talk me through your songwriting process a little bit and how you come up with different chord progressions and riffs for your songwriting.
So for my process of writing a song, it actually depends a lot. Uh, it varies from song to song. Sometimes it comes up in my head, like I have a singing melody in my head, and I record it quickly on my phone so I don't forget it, and then I would build around the guitar tracks around that. But also, I think mostly a lot of my music just comes from me just messing around with guitar. Um, I learned. I actually barely learn covers. I learn covers just once in a blue moon if I'm really feeling like it. So sometimes, like let's say it was like an Elliot Smith song or whatever, and I really like that one chord, or like a Duster song. I'm like, I really love that chord. I'll try and maybe incorporate it somehow a little bit, but in my own different way, of course. But then also, like we were mentioning earlier, with like the indie setup with the laptop or whatever. There's even a couple songs, like especially the slowcore songs, where I actually started with a drum beat, like just a random drum beat that I just had exported in there, or like the messing around with the drummer on the Logic Pro app that I was using. I'm like, that sounds really cool. Then I start hearing the guitar, start hearing the vocals in my head, and I kind of just uh, start small and then incorporate different layers as I go.
Sick. Yeah, I feel like that's just the creative way. If you hear something, I don't know, a little tidbit,
Yep.
go back over it, keep layering like a cake,
Yep.
yeah, until it's something really neat. And I really like the Kick Me Down song. It's fire.
Thank
Straight
you.
fire.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's just very unique for sure.
I
So
appreciate it.
speaking of technique, just in case we have any guitar nerds on here, because it's very likely, extremely likely, you posted videos showcasing techniques such as finger picking and more. So what are some techniques or licks that you're currently learning or working on?
Um, lately I haven't been working. I've just been like working on new ones. I haven't been working on new ones. I've just been practicing the ones I've been doing. So, um, in terms of technicalities, I'm not really the best, but with finger picking, um, I love practicing like the 3/4s or the boom boom doom. I really like doing with finger picking. Uh, I just mess around all the time. I don't know like the exact phrases I could use for like my finger picking technique. I just mess around all day.
Got you. So you rely on ear mostly, and you're just
Yes.
so it's kind of like a muscle memory thing, and it just
Yes.
what you I guess what you hear you apply, and then it sticks with you type of. That's like your learning process, I guess, and that's really cool.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I try to just play whatever to me sounds good.
right. Yeah, exactly. I do see we have a lot of comments. I'm like halfway through the interview, so I want to take a minute to say that if you want to ask Elliot a question, which I see there's already some in the questions tab, just put it in the questions tab or type it right here, and I will skim through and like we'll answer a bunch of them. I also see that a girl named Hannah was typing a bunch, trying to say how much she loves your music. So shout out to Hannah.
Thank you, Hannah.
I always have my eyes glued to the comments, so I see you guys. No worries. Um, so let's see. What's the best guitar that you've ever played? Like, you don't have to like own it, but like say one that you picked up in a music store.
I'm very lucky to say the best guitar I've ever played is actually one of the ones I own, and it's that Jazz Master that I was talking about. We played
And,
it. I tried it out, and I think in a Russo Music, I think that's what it was called, the music shop, and
hmm,
I wasn't able to put it down. And then I would say tied for first is that Tanglewood that I also used to record with that I was talking about earlier. Um, I actually never even heard of that brand before I picked it up. I was like, what is this thing? It looks really cool because I really like the dark oak wood or spruce wood finish or whatever it is, some tree. And then I was playing it. I actually picked that up in a shop in Philly. I'm pretty sure it was either my mom or my
Bill,
birthday that day, and it was my birthday. My mom said it was my birthday, and I picked it up, I started playing, messing around with it, and I was like, this is the best acoustic guitar I've ever played in my life, and I have to leave. I cannot leave it here, otherwise I would feel like part of my soul is missing. So I would say that Tanglewood guitar and the Jazz Master.
you adopted it. Yay. It's so happy. That's
Yes.
that's definitely a sick guitar, and I have heard of that one. So yeah, definitely sick.
Thank you.
Butcher everybody's username. That's just how it is sometimes. So I do apologize in advance. Shlomo Schmo says it is the goat, no cap.
Truth, how you doing, man?
True. True. Okay. So, what are your favorite guitar strings? How do you like them set up?
I actually I use the Ernie Ball strings for my electric guitars.
Yep.
I think I might also use them for my acoustic. I have no clue. But I really like the low gauge strings a lot because it's just easier for me to mess around with solos or uh I do like I said like a lot of the chords with finger picking or whatever. So it's just easier to go up and down the fretboard with the Ernie Balls.
Yeah, I agree. I use the electric like slinky ones or whatever,
Yep.
and I super low. The only problem is like with low action when you bend, sometimes with tiny fingers, your fingers go under the next
Hmm.
I'm talking about. That's the only downside, but they are great strings. Yeah, the Dreaming Insomniacs, which I see them a lot. Shout out to you guys. They're a band. They said low gauge all the way with fire emojis.
Yes.
Heck yeah. I mean, high gauge can be cool too, depending. But that's like, I'll rant forever. Any gear or guitar companies that you would like to collaborate with in the future? And, or is there just anybody in general that you'd like to shout out, guitar company wise?
Guitar company wise, I would love to say Tanglewood. I think is severely underrated. Of course, I would love to like imagine it'd be wonderful to collaborate with any guitar brand in my opinion, like ESP or Fender or Gibson or any of the. I've been playing guitar for so long, and just to even think about doing a collaboration with one of those brands would just be wonderful. But I would say a dream come true at the very least. What? What are you saying? What guitar brand do you think? Fender Jazz Master. You could tell her she could go longer than a half hour. Oh yeah, okay. So my dad said we could go longer than a half hour as well too. Yeah, like Fender Jazz Master. Like if I was able to have my own like branded Fender Jazz Master would be really cool.
Oh, dude. Yeah, that'd be like, I feel like you'd be just fine in life after that.
I'm fine in life with just owning a Fender Jazz Master just to go and like actually collaborate with Fender would be really, really cool.
Yeah,
I'd be set.
like to have your own like jazz master signature guitar would be like super sick.
It would be really cool.
That'd
I
be
agree.
yeah, hey, it might happen now that we put it out there. It might just
Yes, please, Fender.
yep, shout out to Fender. I know a few guitar brands follow me on here. Like I know Sawtooth does, etc. A bunch of custom builds. So you never know. You never know who could be on here. So one more question from me, and then I'm gonna open it up. We have at least 10 in the questions tab, and then a bunch over here. So we good. If you could work with any guitar player, who would you pick?
Oh man.
Or like maybe to make it easier, your top 3 guitar players.
If I was able to go all time, am I allowed to do Dead or Alive as
Oh
well?
yeah.
Okay.
Any of your idols.
If that was the case, I think I would have to choose for like my own genre, like the slowcore indie genre. I would probably, of course, do Elliot Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, he's one of the greatest songwriters of all time. Oh man, let me think of two more. In terms of just straight up talent and skill, I would have to go Jimi Hendrix, an absolute classic.
Yeah.
And then David, yeah, my parents are giving me some other options to help me out here. David Gilmour would be so cool.
Oh yeah, that would be like otherworldly, should I say? Especially if he had the slide on stage. Like I love when he does the High Hope solo live, where he
Yep.
just in front of him and he just it's like it's freaking epic. There's
I,
kind
I
of
would I would just love if I was able to do like a slowcore song and then he could just do a solo. That would be enough for me. Jane
yeah.
Vasquez would be another great one of Dinosaur Jr. One of my favorite guitarists as well, and he also uses a jazz master. He also has a Telecaster too, but jazz master I'm pretty sure is his main guitar.
Both dope guitars. Both really awesome ones. Okay, guys, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna open the questions tab, and feel free to send more in. We're actually pretty early. It's 2:21. We still like 2:30 something or 2:40 depending. So let's see what we got. 0000 C Daniel says, "Do you listen to black metal?"
Yes, I do. A bot, Dimmu Borgir, even though what are they more like symphonic black metal? Uh,
Symphonic.
I would
Yeah.
say those two are my main two favorites.
Do you know the band? They're a little more obscure, but Beyond the Black.
I
They have
might have heard of them,
the
but
lead
no.
woman Within Temptation. Do you know Within Temptation?
Yes,
Yeah,
I've heard of them.
very similar to them vocally and instrumentally. I mean, they're unique in their own way, but I love that type of stuff too. It's really, really.
Great
Let's.
question.
Oh yeah, they keep coming in. Uh, Charlize Lizzie says, "What kind of music is your favorite?" Leslie, I'm sorry, I believe that's Leslie. What kind of music is your favorite?
I would say, I mean, it definitely varies from time to time. Some days I'm feeling grunge, some days I'm feeling metal, but I would say the main consistent one that I've been enjoying the most recently is gonna have to be like slowcore. Because like Duster, Elliot Smith, Nick Drake, a lot of those I've just been in a huge, huge kick, and I don't see me coming out of that rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's really cool, that genre, like that slowcore stuff.
Yeah, and
And
it also has like all those inspirations to classic rock too. Like Elliot Smith was a huge fan of the Beatles too.
uh-huh. Yeah. Thoughts on I don't know this group, but Lord Nihai says thoughts on Burzum?
I am not a fan of Burzum. I don't really like them.
Okay, so what can you like describe what kind of genre that they are? Are they like
They are a black metal genre. I don't like the vocalist. I don't like him. I don't like that guy.
I like the
He's
honesty. I like the honesty a lot. Zombie Flower says, "What band has been your favorite to see in person?" That's a good question.
That's a really great question. Oh man, I would say Radiohead, I had the pleasure to see live, and they were incredible. I just recently saw
Dude,
Hylung live, and they were just simply an experience. The visuals and
wow.
there was a lot of like drums and bass, and every single time they hit those drums, I could feel it in my heart. It was ridiculous. And then I would have to say, and recently, Sunny Day Real Estate was just an absolute blast to see them. I mean, Jeremy Enoch, one of my favorite vocalists of all time. I really like his solo stuff too, and like that 90s, early 2000s music, of course, that grunge post-punk, and it was really great to see them live. King Diamond and Iron Maiden I've seen live a bunch of times. Once again, with those visuals, I really appreciate King Diamond with like his makeup and the set behind him and everything. And of
Yeah.
course, Iron Maiden, Bruce Dickinson still has that energy to jump off like those like his set and stuff, and it has like the giant eddy coming out. I would say those for me have been my favorite experiences, and of course, Kiss. I got to see him live too. That was my very first show I ever saw live was Kiss, and that will always remain in my heart. That show.
That's a good one. I remember when I was a toddler, I was like randomly obsessed with Kiss. I just like the coolest dudes. And they are. So that's awesome. You saw a lot of legends in person. Uh
Lucky,
favorite
I was lucky.
Lauren Waters 06 says, "Do you have a favorite Jeff Buckley song?"
Oh man, that's a hard one. He's another classic. I'm gonna have to say "So Real." I like a lot from Jeff Buckley, and of course Grace. I'd say "So Real" and "Grace" are tied for my two favorites.
Cool. I'm gonna have to like check that out because I actually am not familiar. So
Oh man,
I gotta
Jeff
study.
Buckley is awesome. Very one of the best vocalists of all time. So talented. And especially in those songs in particular, his vocal melodies are just so beautiful. And I grew up listening to Jeff Buckley, and then I just recently rediscovered him again. So just I was like, oh my gosh, like unlocked like a secret memory of mine listening to him in those car rides when I was younger.
Nice. Jeff Buckley is on the list, y'all. The Dreaming Insomniacs says, oh, they shared this around and they asked, will you two ever do a collab song?
Oh man, yeah, I'd be down. I'd be down to do a collab if we do it, but it has to be like indie slowcore. It has to be that vibe.
Yeah, I'm pretty like versatile. I have an acoustic album out, but I did record it like in a home and it's, I'm kind of like reworking my sound a bit, but I also like contemporary and all that stuff. I'm influenced by the older rock and I'm actually in upstate. I'm like 4 hours from the city, but it's like you can't even really see it.
Oh man, you got the snow.
Yeah. Oh, you don't have the snow yet in the
Not
in the
yet.
city?
No,
Oh,
I'm in New Jersey. Yeah, right
God.
now, luckily, I have been very lucky. I've been seeing a lot of my friends getting snow. I haven't gotten any snow.
Yep, nope, it's coming down. It's winter wonderland over here. But I get down to the city, and I'm sure that you will be playing some shows that I can come support for sure.
Speaking of shows, I'm gonna be doing my very first show at like a real venue at the Mercury Lounge in New York. That's gonna be February 22nd. So if you're watching this, make sure you get tickets. Especially since I don't really know the updates on that, and also I'm gonna have uh, special goodies for that specific show. So stay tuned.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so that's right in New York City, the Mercury. And I've definitely heard of that. That's a pretty prominent one, so good for you.
Thank
Um,
you. I'm very excited and nervous at the same time.
it's going to be a great experience for sure, and to put that on your resume, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Somebody's or Kieran, I'm sorry. Kieran Skeleton 007 asks, is it a tour? Like, are you gonna go around and play different venues around the country, or are you kind of staying put in the city? Because there's a lot of nooks in the city that you can play.
Unfortunately, right now it's not a tour, but I really do want to go on tour. That is 100% in my plans. I want to travel the whole country, if maybe even one day the world. So definitely stay tuned for that. It is in my plans.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, like I always say this, never rush goals, never rush art, you know. Every artist tours at some point, or at least dreams of it at some point, and it's a great thing to have on the resume and just to have in your brain, different places, you know. Oh, wow, 8 more questions. I'm gonna like maybe go 10 more minutes if that's cool. If you're like,
That is cool with me.
alrighty,
Your dad just said you can go 15 to 20 minutes, whatever you want. It's all good.
hello, Dad. How are you? Oh, this is a good one. This is on your acting. This is Hard Rock Brianna 999 says, "Who are your influences to inspire you to be an actor?"
Uh, I would say I mentioned to him briefly before. I had the wonderful chance to meet Bryan Cranston. He was doing a signing at a grocery store for his like alcohol, and he was definitely one of my main inspirations. I even had the small chance. I had like a couple seconds just to tell him. I was like, I am such a big fan of yours. You inspire me to act. Blah blah blah. And he said, I wish you luck on your acting journey. So now I cannot fail acting. I'm not allowed to fail any audition, any acting line, nothing, because if I fail, I'm not only failing myself, but I'm also failing Bryan Cranston.
Oh my
Aaron Paul, of course, Breaking Bad, another inspiration of mine. Bryan Cranston. Oh, I just said Bryan Cranston. Oh my gosh, Robert De Niro is also a big one for me.
Nice. Yeah, that's really cool to have somebody like that in your corner, you know? Well, at least like, sending their encouragement your
Yes.
way. So, somebody has a question about Kiss. Lord, oh yes, Nord Nahili again says, "Feel like Kiss isn't Kiss without Ace." What is your thoughts on that?
I personally agree with you. I feel like Ace Frehley is one of the best guitarists, one of the most legendary guitarists ever. Um, I actually had the wonderful chance of interviewing him, Ace Frehley, and that was such a
Uh,
fun interview. And he treated me so well. He was so nice. So I am on Ace Frehley's side.
Yay, very cool. Somebody said dance, Cait, dance.
Can
Was
I
I
dance?
our movement at the time? I probably was. I'm sorry. I do it like very randomly over here. Um, all right. Oh, this is another from Hard Rock Brianna that I'm gonna pick a few ones that we haven't seen before. If you had to choose between Van Halen versus Guns N' Roses, who would you pick?
Oh man, both are absolute classics. I would say with Guns N' Roses, I'm more familiar with their music and I listen to them more. I actually got to see them live. But I would say, as guitarist wise, I'd say Van Halen.
Good answer. Good answer. Like it's a balance, you know.
Yes, it is a balance.
They're both like equally influential, but like in various ways. Yes.
Agreed.
So Jer Orion says, "Hey, I am in the practice I am in the practice room right now recording covers and wanted to ask you if there's a specific song of yours that you would like me to cover." So one of your fans
Wow.
asked for a suggestion there.
Man, I'd be happy if you covered any song, but maybe let's switch it up and do one from the new EP. I actually got to see someone posted a video of them doing a cover of my song "You Are Dreaming," and it was on piano, and it was so beautiful. It was on TikTok. Um, I gave him a little follow. I would say let's mix it up. Since he did "You Are Dreaming," how about you do "Kick You Down"? Can you do that
Yeah.
one? I would love to see it. Please tag me in the cover if you posted it anywhere. I would love to see it.
Yeah, so Jer, if you are watching, definitely post that cover because
Please.
Elliot is going to be on the lookout for that.
Yes.
Eric and Color asks, "How did you handle watching the graphic kill in Terrifier 2? Did you need therapy?"
No, I did not need therapy, but those those scenes, those gruesome scenes, those practical effects still got me. I watched the movie 6 times, um, and Yes, especially that bedroom scene definitely got me with that gore. Damien is he's also the director of the film and edited the film. He also did the practical effects. So he's an absolute genius, super talented. And just the fact that even on the sixth time of watching the movie in theaters, and those scenes still made me wince and like I would say I might need therapy every single time after I'm done watching Terrifier 2.
Or you're just, like, desensitized, like you're just like, this is just my world. Like, I see a lot of blood. I don't know. All right. Joe Cruz says, "Are you playing your new EP in New York tomorrow?"
I'm gonna be playing my song "You Are Dreaming" to open up tomorrow.
Cool.
So look out for that. At the Mercury Lounge show, I'm gonna be playing more songs from the EP though.
Cool. Yeah. So it's like a balance then.
Yes. So if you want to see like songs like "Kick You Down" or "Can't Find a Way," get tickets for the Mercury Lounge show.
Mercury Lounge, everybody.
Yes.
That'll definitely be a diverse show with lots of tunes. So I feel like that's like the main one you're gearing up for
Yes.
from the sound of it. Yes. Carrie Crave Cinema says, if there was Pennywise versus R, who do you think would win? I kind of think this question is, or the answer is a bit obvious, but you give us the spiel.
I'm gonna say Art the Clown. I mean, Pennywise was able to be defeated by kids just standing up to him and just being not scared of him. That's when that was his biggest weakness. I would say Art the Clown is just a lot more cold-blooded and gruesome. At any point of the movie, you think it's over or whatever. Like especially with that bedroom scene, like I was mentioning before, and you thought, Allie, oh, she's alive, she's still breathing, and the Art the Clown comes back in with the bleach and salts. Like it's just Art the Clown is I would say a lot more scary and powerful because the entire time he's just messing with you. He's just like torturing you. It's just fun for him. He's just having a good time. So I think Art the Clown would be able to destroy Pennywise.
Yeah, 150% destroy.
I'm on Team Art the Clown.
3 seconds, but yeah, he's a pretty gruesome guy. Art the Clown. He's pretty bad, I would say. Pretty dang bad. He gets pretty happy about it though. Like one of my favorite things was when he was like when he had the bleach, he like skipped back into the room like all happy. Oh
Yep.
god, this is about to be a not good time for her. Like, oh dear. Yeah, the OG horror says, "Good to see you here. Hi." They said Art the Clown is so unpredictable. It is true.
It is very true.
Cachahora Discos says, "Do you like Jeff Beck? The biggest, in my opinion."
I have heard of Jeff Beck, and I know he's an absolute classic, but I have not given him a good enough listen yet in order to express my opinion. So that is on my list now that you mentioned Jeff Beck.
Yeah, Jeff Beck is quite the player. He's very cool. He's got like a very unique style too.
Nice.
I'm sorry. Oh, I guess I will say that question. I believe you already answered this one, but don't want to disappoint this dude. Ron Lung says, "Is there a music genre you would like to explore more of?" I do believe you kind of semi-answered that in the beginning, but
yeah, I would say if I was ever to venture off, it would be like the post-punk grunge, like that 90s, like a little bit more heavy, like Sonic Youth. But yeah.
Yeah, so kind of like what you've been doing, but add some like real heaviness and some like grunge, sprinkle some grunge on there.
Yeah, maybe years down the line, I would consider doing that, but I've been really, really enjoying making this indie music.
Yeah, definitely. Kill Magnus says, "Elliot, I saw you at the Sunny Day Real Estate last month. Keep up the good work, man. Got a lot of encouragement. Got a lot of fans on here."
Thank you so much. Yeah, that Sunny Day Real Estate show, it was wonderful. And great to hear from you again.
Yeah, like your fans are so supportive, and that's so great to see, and that's so good to have, especially so early on in your career.
Yes, I'm
Uh,
very lucky. I love every single one of you.
yes. Um, Jer Orion says, one more music choice question. What's your favorite Pink Floyd song?
Uh,
Also, That You Are Dreaming cover was me, and I'm just getting covers recorded before I leave for break.
oh, nice. So yeah, thank you once again for that "You Are Dreaming" cover. Oh,
Nice.
man, there's so many good Pink Floyd songs.
It's hard to pick.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite? How about you help me out here?
I would like have to say High Hopes, honestly. And I mentioned that one earlier, but it's just got it like it hits different. It's sad, but it also makes you feel like some type of way. I can't even
Mhm.
explain. It's an emotional song, but I feel like the instrumental kind of is the foundation and it carries a lot of that. Uh, I don't
I would have to probably go with the Dark Side of the Moon album.
know.
Um, opening track's called "Speak to Me," right? And "Breathe In."
Yes. Yep.
Yes, yes. I wanted to make sure I got that correct. I would say that one is my favorite.
Nice. That's also a good choice. It is like really hard to pick. Somebody said mine is Comfortably Numb. That's a classic
Classic.
too. Yep. They're saying there's one more question here, but it's not coming up as new. Oh, okay. Apparently I have to scroll down. I'm sorry, guys. I'm 21 and apparently still need lessons on technology. So, um, sorry for the delay. I'm like kind of scrolling through. I don't know. So the
You're all
questions
good.
actually got through most of those, but I guess we'll take like two more questions. One little lady up above, I lost your username. I'm horridly sorry. She says, who would win, Michael Myers or Art the Clown?
Art the
Another opinion.
I would say Art the Clown. Michael Myers is definitely a scary character, but once again, Art the Clown, his gruesomeness. Um, I feel like he's able to match Michael Myers while Art the Clown is just having fun. You know what I mean? He's just enjoying himself. He's having a good time, messing around with people, and it's like the sick game that Art the Clown plays. So I would say, if it really came down to a fight, Michael Myers would lose.
Yeah, very true. Because he is a scary guy, Michael. But the thing is, I just feel like Art never like dies. He won't stop. Like it's like, oh dear, you know.
Never
So
ending.
yes, I have brain fog. I had like COVID a while back, and it's still affecting my brain. Blah, blah, blah. But I saw a few questions on Terrifier 3. Can you give us a little insight on if there will be a Terrifier 3, or if you'll be involved in the next project, obviously, which is most definitely a yes, I would assume.
I'm pretty sure I'm allowed to say this because one of the last interviews I did with Damien, he said there will be a Terrifier 3 and you will see more of Sienna and Jonathan.
Yeah,
So, yes and yes is the answer to your question.
much. You guys have been so well received, which is epic. And yeah, I mean, this is just such a success. You guys were put in theaters like what, a whole additional month?
Yeah, something crazy
It
like that. Yeah.
barely ever happens too. So, people were into it. And I feel like it's because it was really pushing the boundaries of what can even be shown in theaters, honestly. Because you have this bloody clown like whipping this kid with like a chain with scissors attached to it. Like, it's pretty like intense stuff. And I feel like it's just, it made everybody feel startled in the best way. So
Yes, I would say the biggest reason for all that is because there was no marketing at all put into this. So
yeah.
I would say it was just straight up from word of mouth of true awesome horror fans. So I thank the horror community greatly for the success of Terrifier 2.
Yes, thank you all of you guys that bought tickets for Terrifier 2. You obviously helped make it the success that it is and pushing it to be like an entire franchise because there's going to be a third. So there you go. That question is confirmed.
Love you
And
all, horror fans.
yeah, I think that I honestly went through like all the questions. I went right through all those. So I feel like I got to most people. If I didn't get to you, I'm so sorry. We do see your usernames popping up. These are always fun. And I tend to do them like at least every week or every other week with different guests. So Elliot, it was great to have you, yo. Like definitely I will stay tuned with your journey and all of that. I think you're gonna be great. You're gonna be epic.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the kind words, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, right on for sure. We'll be waiting for the next movie. But
Yes.
you guys follow Elliot if you're coming from my page. He's got a lot going on. He's also a guitarist. Check out the Kick Me Down video and the EP. Check out the Mercury Lounge. That's
Yes,
gonna.
Mercury Lounge, February 22nd.
Yep. Oh, Jonathan says Terrifier 3 in all caps. Yeah.
Terrifier 3!
Woo.
Yeah!
I'll see you later. Very cool to meet
All right.
you.
Great meeting you too. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you once again.
Great day, guys. We'll see you
Bye.
later. Woo.